I might know. You might have, one of those ancestry trees that tells you how far back you can trace yourself. Be that you have that or be that you have none of it. There are generations that went before you, and the vibration, like tendrils, like very delicate sounds, resonate in you to this very day. I come to this moment to honor the generations of women that went before me. No judgment, just appreciation. I bow before the ancestry that leads to this moment. Maybe there is a grandmother, maybe there's an image or a picture of a great-grandmother or an aunt. We believe that there is resonance in your psyche, in your soul. There was no accident that you were born to a particular woman and a particular man. That energy came together. That resonance expressed in you. And now you stand in this body, this today, in this now. And be that you're in a physical male body or in a female body, you had a mother and a grandmother and a great-grandmother and a great-great-great-grandmother, and all of my ability to protect and to nurture. So we come back to be with each other in this consciousness of our fellowship. Move a little bit. Remember to have your feet on the ground whenever you speak words of energy and outpouring and regeneration. Let your feet be on the ground. Let yourself be grounded. I want you all to be wise and smart and capable. And then you move around a little bit in your body self. Shift around a little bit. Yes, you stay open because you're in this collective. But at some point you want to also be wise that you're closing down the opening that you had just experienced, or opening that you if you have anything, okay, we got this, I got to change it. Yeah, I can't turn it. So I'm staying with the gallery. You know that I'm up there. Yeah, okay. So I want to talk to you. I looked up some of the teaching around the soul. As you know, in Unity, there is this word pivotal, an acceptance and an interpretation that the soul is pivotal. We have concepts that include very clearly the feminine. God is male and female, spirit is male and female, and we have, the Trinity incorporated into our teaching, the spirit, soul, and body, and that the goal on this planet, in this school of life that you find yourself in, is not to, I don't know, get a nice place in heaven, but to bring soul and body and spirit into balance. More and more into balance. And this teaching about the pivotal soul in a psychological understanding that for me is always Carl Jung, who was my theorist, upon which I even wrote my dissertation. It's that we have both in our psyche, in our soul, we have both male and female. And so you have to, and it's Trinity, but it's a psychological concept, is that we have male and female, we have feelings and we have intellect. Men have intellect and they have feelings. And the dance is between those two to bring them into balance, so that, guess what? You can integrate, embrace what we would call shadow. What is shadow? What is shadow? You know, in Unity, we don't talk about shadow. We talk about that we have problems, we have deficiencies, we have challenges, and Unity folks often are puzzled by the fact how many issues come up for them to have to deal with, right? Are you with me? Right? And so in this, that's what's called the learning. It's called the curriculum. And you need both. You need the feeling and the male and the female in you, the balance in you. I give you an example. If you are a human in a female body, and you have these two aspects, and you have a highly developed intellect, but your feelings are very tenuous, guess where your learning comes from? Not from your intellect, it's coming from that very tenuous feeling nature. That, you know, that says, I'd rather not have those feelings. I'd rather deal with my head. I'm just going about doing my thing, but I don't want to deal with feelings. In Unity, we have this teaching of the spirit, soul, and body, which is very radical, that the soul and the body are equal in importance. That gets close to this idea about shadow. You can't go anywhere without you're taking it with you. So if my intellect is clear and I'm competent, but my feelings are very bleh, I don't want to deal with those, you're taking them with you. And at the first possible opportunity, the feelings pop up, but they're not differentiated. They're not mature in a way. It's the other way around. You have been in the presence of men who had, we call them, have moods. Oh, if he's in a mood, you can't talk to him, right? Guess what that's about? His feeling nature is not differentiated. Or in Unity, we would say the imbalance, the soul is pivoted one way, but does not pivot to the other. The body self, which is the learning of you, you take it with you. That's where your experiences come from. Your body self is where your learning is. And today, I want us to revisit that idea that my soul, that holds all the memories of my life, like I said earlier on, from the genetic, from the DNA, from the generational, from the ancestral, all the way to the various lives, if you believe in reincarnation. The soul holds it. They even have a word for it, the Akashic records, imprinted in your soul. And so your soul has this life to what? Bring light into it, to heal, to learn. And thank God the soul is pivotal. At any given moment, you can do what we call in our meditation, align with spirit. But the soul has to turn to the body as well. And it is a feeling quality. It is a feminine quality that is needed when the soul pivots to the body, to your personality. And everything that's not working, and everything that's a challenge, and everything that's on your shoulder as a burden, the soul needs to pivot. The soul needs to be protecting and nurturing. There is no way your human self is going to change without that recognition of who you really are and where really your power comes from, and where really your healing comes from, and where really your prosperity comes from. It's in ideas that manifest through from the spirit to the soul. And as I was reading Charles Ross, I don't know if you remember him, he was one of the early ones. He calls the soul a lens. He said, think of it like a lens. You know, when you go out and there is a solar eclipse of some sort, right? And you're up on a mountain or you're out in nature, and they say to you, don't look into the sun directly, right? You put on these funny glasses. That's the other side, the soul function. You could not tolerate the light of the spirit that you are coming through directly. You got to, the soul is a lens. It lets in the light from the spirit, but then it looks to the body, and it has to be today an invitation to be protecting and nurturing. So I want to leave you with this, just this idea. My soul is pivotal, and it is a lens. It lets in the light that I need right now to empower me to look at me, my body self, my personality self. I want to bring in this from the esotericists and from the 12 powers, the idea of the third eye. You have been exposed to this concept, and we have been completing the teaching of the 12 powers. And the third eye is this pituitary gland here. And I'm going to read to you something that is maybe sounding just a wee bit too cosmic, but I want to read it to you anyway. If you can realize how your interaction with the outside world reflects what you're learning on the spiritual level, you will grasp the importance of contemplation and reflection as a source of action. Using the feminine energies to perceive the hologram. You know what the hologram is? It's a way of seeing the whole, not just a picture or a pixel, or not just one-dimensional, but the hologram will give you the edge necessary to make the right choices. The third eye is the gift of the human. The third eye accesses holographic knowing. It sees and thus gives articulation and definition to essence. This is the knowing energy of the feminine in the spiritual sense that shapes essence into form. The feminine, even on this level, gives birth, gives form. So there's something that is activating the third eye. It's an inner seeing, it's an inner knowing, it's an inner perceiving. And we are moving to a new moon, the end of this week, where this is particularly significant. So take a moment, close your eyes. I take with me from this morning the soul. My soul is pivotal and holds the feminine qualities of protecting and nurturing, embracing my human life. Renewal is called for. Expansion is called for. And I am open to think, to see, as the soul sees, which is holographic. The soul is always in the now. So thank you, God. Thank you, God, for this morning, for all of us here. I'm going to turn off the